Hello. So I thought I would share with everybody some of the fears that I had before having my gastric bypass. I had a Roux-en-Y gastric bypass October 17th of 2017. So prior to that, I had to do 6 months of medical supervised weight loss with my doctor per my insurance. So during that time period, I learned like what my body was going to be going through, what I was going to have to do after the surgery, all that type of stuff. I also followed a lot of people on Instagram, watching other people's stories. So during that time period, I started to get a little afraid of some things. I was worried about the hair loss. I was worried about the loose skin. It was a major surgery, so of course I was worried about making it out of the surgery alive, but here I am. I was worried about my overall look. Like, I don't mean to sound shallow with that or anything, but I was worried about how I would look afterwards. And it's funny looking back on that now because of how great I feel and how all those things I was worried about are like non-existent now. And I'm 3 years out. So there was hair loss. Yes, I did lose some hair. Most everybody does. It's just what our bodies go through when we're losing weight rapidly. I do have some loose skin, but I would much rather have some loose skin than have the weight that I was carrying around. Loose skin is going to be a given when you lose a large amount of weight. There are things that you can do, though, to kind of control things. That is where I got a handle on my fear. I talked to my doctor during that 6 month period before the surgery about some of my fears. I talked to him about the hair loss. I talked to him about the loose skin. None of those things he could predict how they would turn out for me, but we did discuss how diet, hydration, vitamins, protein, all those things that I can control will help keep those things I was worried about from being super bad. Everybody's body's different, so everyone's going to go through this process differently. But for me personally, figuring out something that I could control helped me with my fear. So I made sure I drank water. I made sure I always took my protein and my vitamins, made sure I'm getting the right nutrition. Those things that I can control have made it so that I don't have excessive loose skin. My hair loss was minimal, and it was only during a certain stretch of my process. It didn't continue. It did end. So for me, I think finding things I could control, finding things that I could wrap my head around, get a game plan for, and figure out how I was going to do things, helped me muster up the courage that morning to have the surgery, because I almost left the hospital a couple times waiting to get called back for the surgery because I was so nervous. It's completely normal and natural to be nervous over that big of a life-changing decision. But I'm so glad I did not walk out. Having the surgery was one of the best decisions I've made in my life. Wouldn't take it back for anything. And all those fears that I had are nothing now, but just something to look back on and smile about. Everybody's story is different. Everybody's story is not the same as mine. I can only share my story. But for me, and I think for a lot of people, if you can get a game plan, figure out what you can control, it makes things a lot easier. And it also makes it easier to calm yourself when your fears are getting a little bit overwhelming. So, just my thought on things, and I just wanted to share that. Thanks.